today we're going to go through your questions. Roll the intro. Guru Nation, look, I haven't responded. It literally says it right here in a while on YouTube. Been busy. Sometimes just getting these videos, like just making them and uploading them. And then the other types of videos I do, like podcasts, where I have to work through someone else's schedule and get a Zoom. And those are usually like hour-long videos. I don't always have time to get to the questions. I do read them as they come through. I don't always get a chance to respond. But today, I'm going through your grab bag of questions here, and I haven't prepared it whatsoever. I have a witness here by the name of Daniel, who is not me. It's another Daniel, and he can confirm that I have not read these comments really. I haven't prepared for this video, but we're going to go through some because there's some like pretty good ones here. So let's go right through it. All right, the first one is more of an opinion. Like this one is related to the CRA burnout, and the person Crossco EJ, you'll see them underneath. Great video. Unfortunately, a lot of CRAs at CROs have 5 or more protocols, which makes mastery of the protocol harder, because this is the video where I said the CRA is really like needs to be the expert of the protocol. Like honestly, the CRA needs to know the protocol better than the coordinator, better than the PI. They should be the experts, the masters of the protocol. And unfortunately, it looks like at some of these CROs, they have way too many protocols. I'm a site owner, Yuma Clinical Trials. That is my real day job. It's not being a YouTuber, although I love it. We've got a lot of protocols ourselves, and we only have, 5 coordinators? So you kind of need the CRAs to be the masters. And I don't know if that's correlated with the CROs getting into issues lately. They've been letting people go, doing a lot of global outsourcing. Here's another comment I got. This was about stress as an employee versus self-employed business owner. It says, hey, I'm feeling this right now. Sweet E1403. Sweet E1403. I was thinking it would be better to either leave the industry or start my own business. I'm in the regulatory field of clinical research. Do you have any advice on how to start my own business in regulatory? So let's spend a little bit of time on this one, because this is actually a really good question. So you are doing regulatory, and there are a lot of companies. If you can learn the pathways, the regulatory pathways. So if you have a biologic, if you have a device, if you have a pill, if you have the drug generics that become repurposed, I believe it was a 503C pathway or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's so many different pathways. There's the 510Ks. There's a lot of different pathways. There's rare disease, there's fast track, there's orphan. A really good person who has a firm grasp on this, Robert Goldman. He's someone that Chris and I partner with on our CRO work. He learned this through just going through regular jobs, from CRA to clinical trial manager to project manager to study director to director of ClinOps. But he's learned so much through regulatory affairs knowledge. There's a huge need for regulatory affairs. It's a very niche skill set, and you can't necessarily get there by just reading and learning. You certainly could, but the best ones not only know it, but have lived it. And it sounds like you are on the right track because you're on the regulatory side. I'm assuming on the sponsor or CRO side. If you're on the site side, it's not that helpful because the sites are just given templates, right? Like the sponsors give the sites the regulatory docs. Hey, fill out. I just did one today. I went to one of our PIs, Dr. Shaw. Hey, can you sign this financial disclosure form? But the template's already made. The sponsors guide you on everything you need to get completed. What you want, there's not much value there in knowing that stuff other than, I mean, you could probably be a CRA if you knew that stuff. You could probably be a site director. You could probably be a coordinator. You could probably do like study startup at a CRO. But for regulatory affairs, and especially like being a consultant and being a contractor, which some of these other comments I'm getting are about, which hopefully I'll get into, I think you really need to learn, and hopefully you've been working at the sponsor level. So now the question is, how do you put yourself out there? Like, how do people know that you know this stuff? Well, you can go to conferences. You can go to mine, SOS, right? There are sponsors there. You can go, you probably want smaller sponsors that don't go to conferences like SOS. So bio would be a big one. There's a chance I might go next week. By the time you're watching this, it's probably already happening. June 6th, I might go to San Diego for bio just to meet up with a couple people I know. Shout out to Luke Eddington coming all the way from Australia for it. You want to go to where these biotechs are at. The good thing about you is this business development that you need to do, you already know who your target market is. Like, it's just a matter of mapping out all the small biotechs that don't know what they're doing when it comes to regulatory affairs, catching them very early in their life cycle as far as maybe their first clinical trial, or if they've already done like their first in human, or maybe they've just done animal studies or preclinical, catching them. Because there are maybe 100 or so biotechs in that stage right now in the US. Maybe there's more, maybe there's several hundred. You can just map them all out and then message them all on LinkedIn, but message like the key decision makers in those places. And I would suggest having a brand, or at least being a voice on LinkedIn, commenting on these kind of discussions. You're invited to come on my podcast and discuss your career if that helps at all. I'd be happy to kickstart your career. But to start your own business, all right, you it's not just what you know, but it's what you know as far as getting clients. Like, there's the operation side of what you know. Like, okay, a client needs help doing this. That's what you know. But how do you even get that client in the first place? And that's who you know, how you approach them, or who knows you. Like, that's really the only 3 ways. If I'm missing one, maybe tell me. So I feel like a lot of people in your situation, they're masters of their craft, but nobody knows it except a few small people in their sphere of influence. So start there and keep expanding. Again, happy to have you on my channel. I love to put people on. Here's one. This is a lawyer commenting, a long comment. I'm a lawyer and a global site contracts manager. Good video where me and Darshan deconstructed a CTA. If you want to participate in a big project, the contract templates are built in a way to ensure consistency and compliance in multiple countries. There are often sections ensuring foreign jurisdiction compliance. Hungarian sites, they don't know what debarment is. Canadian sites don't understand data processing under GDPR. You have different legal systems and often need to explain a common law lawyer, a continental law legal figure. There are also mandatory national CTA templates, some of which are non-amendable. The signature process is sometimes challenging. So this attorney, shout out to Theodore Totev 1113. Happy to interview you as well. Matter of fact, I would invite you to come on the next Fraud Pod with me and Darshan. I think it would be really good. Here's a study participant commenting. I just signed up for a 36-night study screening in 2 weeks. So this was the original goal of this channel, was to actually educate patients. And it's nice to see every now and then an actual patient reaching out, because that was fun fact, like how the channel started, turned into an industry focused thing. But it's cool to see patients still commenting. A lot of questions on diversity. I'm currently working as a senior CRC and committed to opening a research site in Mississippi for underserved patients. Shout out to Jasmine Crane. I appreciate the discussion concerning the challenges and possible mitigation of diversity in clinical research studies. These are great points to consider. In business development, I often wonder how sponsors may behave to high enrollment of one population or another. Thank you both for the valuable insight. Thank you, Jasmine. Happy to interview you. If you need help with your site, let me know. You're going to have to learn the same thing I just told the two commenters ago. Here's another one, Anthony Whitlock, 9222. If you are an RN, so a registered nurse, is it likely to get a CRA job without CRC experience? Thanks. The answer is likely. That term likely is very variable because the current economic environment will dictate that more than your RN. If this was 3 years ago, the answer would be hell yes. Like during the pandemic, there was so much research work to be done. Yes, RN, you didn't need a CRC experience. Today, likely is no. I think you need to be at a site. Matter of fact, one of our newest employees, he's a part-timer. He's an RN student. He's about to finish. Now that he's working at the site level, right? And he's doing it while he's in school. He may have a chance when he wants to. He has the option to be a CRA or to be a bedside nurse or to do both. And in reality, like these CROs and the sponsors, they would love to hire an RN that has research site experience. If they were going to be really picky, which they are right now, they would want an RN with research site experience, bedside experience, and now a willingness to be a CRA. That's all that it takes. But how many people have all three of those things? It's very tough. So I think you need to get that site level experience first. If the economy changes, who knows what 2028 looks like. But right now, 2024, likely is that keyword. I would say no, but fear not. Find a site like Yuma Clinical Trials in your neighborhood. Here's another one, Jennifer, 2016. High-level overview of the informed consent process. I especially took away the importance you stress with treating each potential patient with the utmost respect and dignity. Transparency and honesty go a long way with building confidence. Great job. We forget, because we do this all the time, bedside manner are super important. I know we see like 2 to 5 patients a day. I know other sites do 10 patients a day. I mean, our goal here by the end of this year is to get to 10 patients a day. It's very easy to start seeing them as numbers at that point. Because imagine every day you're seeing 10. And if you're a coordinator, you're seeing like 2 or 3 a day. The PI might be seeing all 10. Very easy to lose bedside manner, especially when you're having like a bad day or a busy day. And to those patients that are there, that's their only experience with the research. So it's very important to have good bedside manner. Can you talk about study startup? Thighs Porphyro, I already did. Check it out. What to choose between SOCRA and ACRP? What's best for someone who wants to be project manager and work at global level? Your advice will be very much helpful. I am not a fan of either, but I would go ACRP. It's more of a brand name. They actually have a project management certificate, so Associated Clinical Research Project Manager, I believe, or professional. One of those two. The ACRP ones are more versatile. The SOCR ones are typically for CRAs, so I would do ACRP. Seeking internships to gain experience. There's a very common thing that I'm seeing and job recruiters are seeing when I'm getting comments like, I'm interested in being a coordinator, but I just don't know. I'm not having any luck. And then I ask them, well, what have you done? How many sites have you called? How many sites have you gone into? And they say 0. So what are you actually doing? Like, you're just interested. You're not doing anything. And sitting back on your computer and clicking LinkedIn and applying with your same resume to like 100 places is just spam. So it's not interesting. You're not interested unless you're actually going out of your way and doing things that other people are not doing, which is going to the clinic. If somebody walked in here right now, all right, we would obviously make them wait because we have to finish the video. But afterwards, I would be intrigued. Like, what the hell are you doing here? No one does this. Oh, you want to intern? And then I would like see the passion, and I would be more likely, we just used that term likely a few comments ago, to give them a chance. But if I just am getting like bombarded with spam resumes and I can tell it's just copy and paste, no, I'm not even reading that. So if you want different results, do different things than other people are doing. Another one is another good question I got. Key performance indicators. I did a video recently on key performance indicators for my site and for my staff. This person, shout out to this commenter. I don't even think the screenshot will fit the entire thing, but I'll give it to Daniel. Here are some insights using KPIs for your research site. First, consider implementing a balanced scorecard, which allows you to monitor your site from multiple perspectives, such as customer satisfaction, internal processes, financial health, and innovation. This approach ensures that you do not sacrifice one area for the benefit of the other. When it comes to KPIs, focus on tracking crucial metrics like enrollment percentages and error rates in real time. These indicators help maintain high-quality data and meet sponsor goals. In addition, measuring employee satisfaction and retention rates ensures that your team remains motivated and skilled. A balanced scorecard allows us to maintain a comprehensive long-term overview that includes the most crucial perspectives for sustained success, while concentrating heavily on a single perspective can yield significant results in that area. It is essential to ensure that other vital perspectives are not neglected. Lastly, emphasize continuous improvement. Consistently measure outcomes, review their impacts, refine your strategies to achieve sustainable success. Thank you for this. This is amazing with references, and this might be the best YouTube comment I've ever seen. It has references, evidence-based references. Amazing. Thank you so much for that. Here's one more. Tesneman. What's up with these YouTube usernames? I'm completely new to clinical research and just got hired as a CRC. Your comprehensive videos gave me a great overview and understanding. Not only does this video give a good overview, but also gives clear explanation of every detail. Thank you so much. That's on the 4-hour video. I really appreciate that one. And I would love to know how you got hired as a brand new CRC. Maybe you come on the show. But there's a lot of good comments here. I'm trying to find like one more. I work at an IRB and find this very interesting. They're talking about the study startup process. I mean, the IRBs can fix their user experience, I think, in my opinion. Now, the last time I personally logged into an IRB portal was probably like 6 months ago. Now my staff are doing it. But the UX, which is user experience, there's a lot left to be desired. Why do a lot of people prefer sponsors over CROs to work? That was from Sarah Klein. And then KN Kobe's replied, far better compensation and benefit packages. It's not even close. Pensions, company cars, sizable annual bonuses, more opportunities for growth and professional development, better job security. We, meaning sponsors, already run 75% of our own trials and we are internalizing even more of our work and minimizing CRO involvement. Reasonable workloads, increased work-life balance, truly regional travel, quality focus, minimal turnover. I'm an associate director, former CRA in ClinOps, and was lucky to move from a CRO to a large sponsor last year. I will never go back to being at a CRO. And there's a lot of people. He or she is saying what everyone's thinking out loud. I'm commenting now. Can I interview you? Because I think this is a super interesting one. So looking forward to possibly interviewing that associate director at a sponsor. Any advice for how a CRA can transition from a CRO to working for a sponsor? And someone else said, need help for me too in that. Bottom line, you got to get to the sponsor side. Most likely what you're going to do is you're going to have to network your way in there. And you're going to have to go to bio, go to DIA. I know those places are expensive. You don't even need to actually pay for a ticket. Just loiter in the lobby. Start talking to people in the lobby. Hey, I noticed your badge. You're from Biotech XYZ. I'm a CRA at a CRO. Do you guys hire? You'd be surprised just going out of your way. And how many people actually do that? The answer is, because I go to these conferences, not that many. There's a lot of psychological reasons for why people don't do that. There's a lot of practical reasons too, like, hey, you got to actually leave your family to go to a conference, financial, the cost of the travel itself, even if you take out the actual conference ticket, is still expensive. You need a place to stay at least for a night. I would say when you find a conference near you, like San Diego is a 3-hour drive from here, Phoenix is another 3-hour. Like I would go just for the day if I were looking. Whenever there's a big conference in one of those cities, there's conferences that you haven't heard of also for therapeutic area. Like there's one for digestive, there's one for gastro. I think it's DDW. I've been to that one. There's of course cancer, oncology, ASCO. There's there used to be one for psych called NCDO. I don't know what it's called anymore. Every therapeutic area has conferences. My PI is going to a sleep conference next week. He actually asked me for business cards to try to get more studies. He just came back from a respiratory conference. Like I'm not even talking research conferences, just therapeutic area conferences, because those sponsors are doing research and you want to go there. How many CRAs are actually going to be there? Very few. And how many decision makers are going to be there at the sponsors? Very many. So it just makes sense for you to be in those kind of places. Also, you can do things like LinkedIn. Get on LinkedIn and start commenting on these sponsors, like targeting. There's something about business to business targeting that's really intriguing to me. Unlike B2C, let's say I'm trying to sell this phone to the masses. I don't know who the masses are. I just know the archetype. I know there's Hispanics. I know there's single moms. I know there's working moms. I know there's Caucasian, affluent women. I know that there's retired people. I know that they're African American, professional. I know there's all these segments. It's very hard to reach those groups. But in B2B, when you know what you want, I'm a CRA that works for a CRO and I want to transition to a sponsor. You just got to map out all these biotechs, sometimes even all the big pharma, and find out what conferences they're going to and go. And then you can even find these people on LinkedIn, like by name, not an archetype of an imaginary person, like an actual person with a name. Robert Smith, Blake Bortles. That's a football player, but you guys get what I mean. You can actually target these people. Let's go through one more, because then we got a Yuma Clinical Trials podcast. Dr. Strange Love, thank you for commenting so many times. I appreciate it. Is there any way to reach out and set up? Yeah, Dan at theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Dr. Strangelove, let's go with his question or their question right now. Thanks for sharing. So travel needs are important. Does this mean that patients with CRAs shall meet to get updates and reports on patients if the patient sampling population is diverse? CRAs travel to monitor sites. CRCs travel to monitor and to take care of or collect data on patients. So Dr. Strangelove, make sure you watch that 4-hour video. Mary KJV 1611, thank you very much for your comment. I appreciate that. Would love to know your current perspective on contract CRAs. Okay, we'll end it with this one. I think contract CRAs are in demand now, especially at the small biotech, small sponsor level. The big sponsors, they either have their FSP models, so functional service provider models, or they have their in-house monitors. The small biotechs, and there's a huge long tail. You've never heard of most of them. Even I haven't, and I try to study the space. Just like the regulatory affairs person, if you've been someone that's been laid off, or you're just sick of working for a CRO, or you don't like your job, you need to start networking and figuring out. No one's going to disagree that you don't know how to be a CRA, but the problem is no one knows you exist outside of your sphere of influence. So start going to conferences, start networking, start commenting on LinkedIn. I mean, it's the same advice. It's not just what you know, it's who you know and how you get to those people who are the decision makers. And then when you get hired, it's what you know. In that order. And a lot of you guys and gals, you got the I know how to do the job part. You don't have the I need to promote myself part. And that's where everyone's lacking. I would say 90% of this industry, if not more, are lacking. Thank you so much, Guru Nation. There's so many comments. Maybe every now and then I'll do go deep into the grab bag of comments. I really appreciate it. If I'm over 60 and currently working as an RN, is there any real chance in this specialty? Of course. And one person said, I always loved CRAs that had nursing experience because they understand the site side of research and don't have unreasonable expectations. They partner better with the site and help them resolve issues, not just present the issues and run away. I think you should do it. I agree. These kind of comments keep coming. Keep sending them. I keep answering them. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Bye-bye. Hey, if you guys like that kind of content, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share. Stay tuned for more videos.